Because there is a communal storm that is brewing in the state of Karnataka. There have been many instances which are building up to it. The latest, right after Muslim traders being banned outside temple fairs, to the call for ban on halal meat, the latest ban azan.
First, the stir over hijab. Then the face-off over halal. Then Muslim traders were barred from Hindu fairs. Yet another communal issue plagues the state of Karnataka. Hindu fringe groups in the state are demanding a ban on the speakers installed in mosques for azan or the call to prayer. The groups claim the azan on loudspeakers is a disturbance for residents.
अवैध रूप से मस्जिद के ऊपर जो लाउड स्पीकर लगाया गया है उसको तुरंत हटाना है और जो भी लोग यह नियम का उल्लंघन करते हैं उसके ऊपर कठोर कार्रवाई हो.
With Karnataka elections slated for 2023, divisive issues are taking center stage. An all-out political face-off has erupted over the demand to ban azan. The opposition has questioned the ruling BJP government in the state for its silence over the recent communal controversies.
Silence from government. In other words, actually, they are encouraging this group. They are the antisocial elements here. Actually, how they moving in Karnataka by circulating the pamphlets that don't encourage particular communities halal issue. Why they have not actually arrested them? They are disturbing the Karnataka's peaceful harmony.
The Karnataka government denies any discrimination against minorities under their watch, but add that supporters of Pakistan will not be spared.
ಈ ಸರ್ಕಾರದ ಕುಮ್ಮಕ್ಕಿನಿಂದಲೇ ನಡೀತಾ ಇರೋದು. ಸಿಎಂ ಮೌನಿ ಅಲ್ಲ. ಈ ನೋಸ್ ಸರ್ಕಾರ ಗೊತ್ತಿದೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. RSSನವರು ಬಜರಂಗ ದಳದವರು ಸರ್ಕಾರ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲೇ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕಾಗ್ತದೆ ಇವೆಲ್ಲನೂ. ಮತ್ತೆ ಹತ್ತಿಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗಿದ್ರೆ
they are really hypocrites. Who started hijab? And why didn't raise their voice against the people who started hijab? And who violated the court orders? Why were they silent then? It is the Congress vote bank politics is creating all this problem.
ಬಸ್ಸು ಓಡಿಸ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೂ ಎಷ್ಟು ಡೆಸಿಬಲ್ ಸೌಂಡ್ ಇರಬೇಕು, ಸೌಂಡ್ ಪೊಲ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಕೋರ್ಟ್ ಆದೇಶಗಳಿದ್ದಾವೆ. ಪೊಲೀಸರಿಗೆ ನಾವು ಹೇಳಿದ್ದೀವಿ, ಎಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲಿ ಎಷ್ಟು ಡೆಸಿಬಲ್ ಇದೆ ಅದನ್ನ ಹೇಳಬೇಕು ಮತ್ತು ವಿಶ್ವಾಸದಲ್ಲಿ ಅದನ್ನ ಸರಿ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದೇವೆ. ಯಾವುದೇ ಘರ್ಷಣೆಗೆ, ಲಾ ಅಂಡ್ ಆರ್ಡರ್ ಸಿಚುಯೇಷನ್ಗೆ ಅವಕಾಶ ಇಲ್ಲ.
The principal opposition, Congress, has accused the BJP of not acting to preserve harmony. In the neighbouring state Maharashtra, the Raj Thackeray-led MNS has threatened to play Hanuman Chalisa on loudspeakers if the ones installed at mosques are not removed. Even as Raj Thackeray made this threat, one of his party workers followed through. Mahendra Bhanushali was detained after he installed loudspeakers on a tree and started playing Hanuman Chalisa in suburban Mumbai's Chandiwali area. After Bhanushali's arrest, the Mumbai police took down the loudspeakers. After halal and hijab, loudspeaker politics is testing the social fabric. Bureau Report, India Today.
All right, viewers, so which one is India's IT hub, the real IT hub? Is it Hyderabad or is it Bengaluru? A massive fight has now erupted after one comment made by a top IT executive over Bengaluru not possibly being India's IT hub, with a plethora of issues. One of them that you just saw in the previous story.
It is Bengaluru versus Hyderabad. India's IT cities are caught in a political crossfire between the BJP, TRS and the Congress. The controversy erupted after Khata Book CEO Ravish Naresh complained about the bad state of infrastructure in India's Silicon Valley, Bengaluru. Telangana Minister K.T. Rama Rao replied to the tweet claiming Hyderabad has good physical and social infrastructure and highlighted inclusive growth as one of its 3 mantras. His subtle hint at alleged rising communalism in Karnataka was not missed. KTR invited Naresh to Hyderabad. Karnataka Congress chief D.K. Shivkumar also joined the Twitter battle. Shivkumar said Congress will restore the glory of Bengaluru once it comes to power in 2023.
I am confident that the next, after 2023, Congress will come back to power with the support of the people and will give good governance. I see that the investments come to Karnataka, unemployment problem should be sorted out, and a lot of jobs should be created.
Karnataka's leader of opposition, Hari Prasad, also targeted the BJP government over the issue. That is not all. Replying to another tweet by an entrepreneur who listed growing religious divide in Karnataka as a concern, KTR hit out at the BJP. He wrote, "What is happening in KA is a shame on to all of us in India. Ruins our reputation as a nation in attracting investments." JDS leader and former Chief Minister of Karnataka also took a jibe at the Saffron Party.
People are not actually encouraged, these kind of people, yesterday. That is one good thing. Our Kannadigas, they have hardly replied these kind of anti-social elements, according to me. But even now, I request the government, don't precipitate future again these kind of silly issues to get vote from particular community. It will going to boomerang you.
Karnataka Minister C.N. Ashwath Narayan also came down heavily on the Congress over the Twitter war.
He is in dreams. Congress is not going to come to power, never ever in future. He is in his dreams. He will never come. What kind of credibility is he having? What kind of people can look up? What is the hope? So far, whenever he is in power, he never delivered. He doesn't know what is deliverance. So these kind of people, what they can talk about, they can't give any better future.
The first industrialist to raise the alleged growing communal divide in Karnataka was Biocon chief Kiran Majumdar-Shaw. Protests over halal, hijab and azan have put the spotlight on Bengaluru, once hailed as India's IT city and a symbol of aspirations. The controversies have robbed Karnataka's capital of some sheen, even as political parties slug it out for votes. Bureau Report, India Today.
All right, let's move on right now to Uttar Pradesh, Gorakhpur. The latest coming in the Gorakhpur temple attack, it seems that there was an ISIS hand behind it. That is what the investigative authorities are suggesting. But it also seems that this man in question, Murtaza, was a lone wolf influenced by radicals.
I am Allah's man. I was on a suicide mission for Allah. Attacked the police who were watching me. Wanted to sacrifice my life for Allah. Chilling confessions from the Gorakhpur temple attacker Murtaza Abbasi. Accessed by India Today, the shocking admission shows that Murtaza may have been on a suicide mission. When questioned on his motive, Murtaza said this was as a man devoted to Allah. He goes on to add that his father is retired from service and lives with him. He reveals that he's a chemical engineer who learnt Urdu and Arabic as a child and is now taking YouTube lessons. When asked why he visited the temple, Murtaza said he wanted to sacrifice his life for the path shown by Allah, adding that he attacked the policemen who were watching him out of anger. The details of Murtaza's grilling suggest he was plotting a Fidain strike on the temple, where UP Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath is the head priest. investigation also appears to reveal Murtaza visited Nepal, Mumbai and Coimbatore in Tamil Nadu recently. 2 of Murtaza's aides have been arrested from UP's Maharajganj. Probe agencies have found what they say are chilling shades of the ISIS terror toolkit in this entire case. The accused, a possible lone wolf, used small weapons to execute these attacks as described in ISIS terror video manuals. The police fear more such attacks, as the ISIS had recently claimed the setting up of 3 sleeper cells in India. The police have also recovered 3 sharp weapons from the accused's possession, including 2 sickles like the one he used in the attack. Incriminating literature in Urdu and Arabic have also been recovered from him. The police suspect Murtaza, who is an app developer, had recently bought an expensive MacBook and was radicalized by watching ISIS videos on the internet. However, the family of
Let's move on now. After the Delhi Chief Minister, it is the turn of Twinkle Khanna to find herself in a spot of bother when it comes to the film Kashmir Files. She made a statement, and post that statement, Kashmiri Pandit activists are up in arms asking for an apology. Here's more.
She's a leading author, a witty influencer, married to a superstar. Twinkle Khanna, aka Mrs. Funny Bones, as she calls herself on social media, has landed bang in the middle of a controversy now. Courtesy her joke on the Kashmir Files movie, a joke that Kashmiri pundits don't find funny. Twinkle Khanna's recent opinion piece on Vivek Agnihotri's The Kashmir Files has sparked angry reactions. But what exactly did Twinkle say? Speaking about the craze over Vivek Agnihotri's blockbuster Kashmir Files, Twinkle Khanna joked of making another movie called Nail File, describing it to be better than putting the final nail in the communal coffin. Adding that now there's a deluge of fresh movie titles being registered on the lines of the Kashmir Files, like Andheri Files, Khar Danda Files and even South Bombay Files.
But again, they are saying that the government must act tough against terror, and at the same time they have said that Twinkle Khanna has made highly insensitive remarks on the exodus of the Kashmiri Pandits. They have also demanded an apology from her.
Massive outrage and protests broke out over Twinkle's remark as Kashmiri Pandits accused her of ignoring and mocking their suffering.
Daughter of heavenly aborted Rajesh Khanna Saab and the wife of Akshay Kumar. I don't think so she has this realization that what all this movie was about. She has been making comments like that it is the Kashmir Files or the Nail Files. I mean, she should be making comments like this for her husband's movie.
Kashmir has never
the BJP, which has been hailing Kashmir Files and putting the spotlight on Kashmiri Pandit exodus and genocide, has lashed out at Twinkle Khanna.
उन्हें जानकारी नहीं है कि यहाँ हुआ क्या था, इसलिए मैं उनसे और उन जैसे बाकी भी लोग उनसे मैं निवेदन करूंगा कि एक दिन गुजारो 30 साल से विस्थापन की जिंदगी जी रहे कश्मीरी पंडितों के गांव में.
It has become habit of liberals and socialites to make mockery of the genocide and ethnic cleansing of people, to laugh over thousands of killings, the brutal murders that have happened, just to be part of that so-called elite left liberal circle.
From the film fraternity, filmmaker and Kashmiri Pandit Ashok Pandit didn't hold back either. He called Twinkle out publicly, calling her insensitive and ignorant to the suffering of the 1990s.
You call yourself a humorist and you make a fun of my genocide? It's really shocking. I've been talking to people in Jammu and all that. They are planning to file an FIR against her. You have no right to make a fun of my genocide.
Interestingly, while Twinkle Khanna mocked the Kashmir Files, her husband Akshay Kumar just a few weeks ago had publicly expressed his support for the new film. Clearly, Twinkle doesn't agree with this view.
Mrs. Funny Bones is known for her witty and uncensored comments. She has quoted controversy in the past as well, but this time the displaced Kashmiri Pandits have said that her latest piece is no laughing matter, it's highly insensitive, and that is why they have even demanded an apology from her. With video journalist Neeraj Kumar, this is Sunil Bhatt reporting from Jammu for India Today.
All right, let's move on now. India Today reporters have been at the front line getting our viewers the very latest of Russia's invasion of Ukraine. They've been reporting out of Ukraine. My colleague Gaurav right now filed this report from the Hostomel Air Base in Kiev.
We are at the Hostomel Air Base, and this is from the cradle to the grave. This is Mriya AN-225, the biggest aircraft ever to fly. You can actually feel the pain when you look at this aircraft. The biggest aircraft, Soviet era engineering marvel, 6 engines, 3 on this side, 3 on that side, and this aircraft literally cut into half by a massive missile strike that took place. We are at the Hostomel Air Base. There is a lot of unexploded cargo here at this point of time. But just for size, this is a strategic lift transport aircraft, the biggest of such aircraft ever to be built. And this aircraft now just lies, it's shattered. Just compare this size and those small aircraft standing there. You can just compare the size of these two aircraft and you can make out. Russia tried to capture this many times. They launched their Spetsnaz, their special forces at this airfield, and they did not. Initially they succeeded, then they failed in counterattacks. Look at the anti-aircraft, tracked anti-aircraft guns here, tracked anti-aircraft guns here, the S-300 system there, the tanks that are parked there, the missile tubes of the S-300 there, the anti-aircraft system here, all burnt, all burnt. This is the hangar, this is the main hangar of Mriya. The number of missiles and rockets fired, it's like pockmarked. This complete place is pockmarked with the rocket strikes, missile strikes, airburst, cargo, bomblets. This place littered with ammunition and a lot of unexploded ammunition also in this place. This actually, the pride of Ukraine, the pride of Soviet Union at one point of time, Mriya AN-225, it's now just, it's cut into half, broken in 2 parts. India's AN-32 transport fighters, the strategic short takeoff aircraft that we require for Siachen, for Leh, for the northeast. They are all manufactured here at this Hostomel Air Base, at the Antonov Air Base. Some of them were here for retrofitting. They had to be rushed out. Some others need to come in for retrofitting and avionics and upgrades. They cannot come here anymore because this entire airbase has been shelled to bits. The hangar there, the building there, the hangars there, the aircraft that was standing there, they are all now perhaps damaged forever. This place is littered with so many bombs and bomblets that it will take months. We spoke to a Ukraine army officer with whom we've come to this place, and the engineers will take at least a month to clear this place before they can make it operational again. Now, the Russians wanted to occupy this airbase because they wanted to use this as the staging camp to launch future operations into Kiev. They wanted an airbase very close to Kiev, and they launched their special forces here. Remember that image just when the conflict had started of multiple helicopters coming into Kiev and flying very low and landing here? Those were the helicopters that launched the special forces and brought them right to this point. And this is where the Ukrainians launched a very swift counter-attack. We also spoke to a special forces officer who's here. Of course, he spoke to us off camera, but he explained how they fought tooth and nail, and there's massive damage. We'll show you reports of the damage that's been caused to entire Hostomel. There's not one building that's standing there undamaged at this point of time. Street by street fighting took place before the Russians were pushed back, and once again the Ukrainians now control this territory after the Russians withdrew.
All right, viewers, from Ukraine, let's shift focus now to our neighbor, the island nation of Sri Lanka. My colleague Ashutosh has been getting us the very latest. Well, deep in economic crisis, the worst that Sri Lanka has seen since its independence in 1948. The latest protests rage on. There is no end to Sri Lanka's hardship. With regular power cuts, fuel shortage, widespread agitation, the island nation is living its worst nightmare. Protests demand that the resignation of President Rajapaksa and his entire family. The Sri Lankan police have scaled up deployment after thousands of protesters tried to storm the Prime Minister's palace. His residence The enraged citizens want the entire family out of power. Meanwhile, Sri Lankan opposition parties have rejected President Gotabaya Rajapaksa's invitation to join in proposed unity. Also, the newly appointed finance minister of Sri Lanka, who only took office just a few days ago, has resigned, saying the ordeal is too big for him to deal with.
Due to the economic crisis, the people who are hitting the street are worse affected because of the economic crisis, the exhausting foreign reserve, and moreover there is a threat to the unemployment. Here the people on the street, just few steps from the Prime Minister's office at the Tourism Board headquarters, there you see the protest breaks out. Here there you see the people who works with the hospitality, the hotel industry. There you see the chef in their traditional uniform, and other side the hoteliers, the employees of different hotels are hitting the street in one of the key areas, the VVIP area of Colombo, and the people demanding save Sri Lanka and save tourism. Remember, the economic crisis and the emergency, the curfew and several restrictions have forced the tourists to leave back. Several tourists are leaving Sri Lanka, and barely all the hotels are saying zero occupancy. So mostly the hotel that we are saying already started saying zero occupancy. The tourism, the hospitality has worst affected. Where do you see the future of Sri Lanka?
Well, if we don't make some serious changes now, we are going to be deep down in a ditch.
You work in the hospitality industry?
Yes, we do.
What is the situation at the moment, and what is the worst fear now?
We have clients interested to come into Sri Lanka, so many across the world, watching to see what the status is, how we will stabilize, because we have bookings coming in from this year, 2023, 2024, but none of those will get confirmed if we don't get our act in order. We have to get our act in order.
Is the tourism board headquarters, and the people, those who are hitting the street, it is barely few meters from the Prime Minister's residence, and the reason of the protest, they're demanding save tourism, because that contributes in the growth of the country, subsequently gains the foreign reserve for the country, and moreover, it keeps the economy running, keeps the people running, the employment running. With this report in Colombo, I'm Ashutosh Mishra for India Today.
With that news report, viewers, I'm going to go into a quick break. To stay with us. On the other side is our fact check segment. Warm welcome, viewers. You're watching our fact check segment, where we bust certain claims masquerading to be facts on social media platforms and WhatsApp groups. Now, there is a video which was floating about suggesting that the Rajasthan police, along with members of the minority Muslim community, blocked Hindu New Year rally. The fact check on that: incorrect. 2016 video from Punjab captures Sena activists clash with Muslim traders. Nothing to do with what is happening right now in Rajasthan or Karoli. With that quick fact check, I'm going to go into a quick break. To stay with me. On the other side is To The Point.